Hey guys, welcome to Double Chan News. It's Dan.
It's Yi.
Happy Mid-Autumn Festival.
中秋节快乐.
Yeah, we got where are our mooncakes? We should be eating them right now.
We just ate them.
Yeah.
We just had some.
I'm full. Oh.
You know, no one would help me. I ate all the mooncakes.
I told you not to do that.
I have no regrets.
Alright, so let's talk about proposals again. This is always a fun topic because this guy was planning a romantic proposal. There was a helicopter involved. Then the helicopter tipped over and crashed. It didn't crash, but it tipped over.
The guy broke his leg.
Or he hurt his leg. It required surgery, but he still went through and asked his lovely to marry him.
This story to me is just so what are the odds, man? Okay, think about it. You're this guy, and you're I want to propose to my sweetheart.
You got this whole thing planned out.
You got to put it in your pocket. You arrange a romantic helicopter ride with her, and you plan on popping the question when you guys land. Right.
Now, the ride, it wasn't a private ride. So there were 3 other tourists on board.
No.
So I'm guessing, so this happened in Queenstown of New Zealand. So I'm guessing, because they said the helicopter made a snow landing. So there was some
snow.
There was some snow, yes. Mount Sale or Sale, I don't know how to pronounce it, is where it is. So I'm guessing they're trying to go into this beautiful landscape in this mountain. There's probably some still snow.
Right now in Sydney.
It is the fall time.
They're the opposite of us.
Right. So we just finished summer, so they should be finishing winter.
Yes.
Right. So there's still some snow. Okay, we're trying to figure this out. Mm-hmm. So the helicopter lands, right? And what happens is it rolls over. So maybe the wind, I'm guessing because the wind is too high.
I think it was not proper landing or something like that. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure it out, and then I'm doing research on it. So either when I look at this photo,
it's a pretty bad crash.
That helicopter is wrecked.
Yeah, it's
holy
wrecked.
Cow. Because I'm thinking if a helicopter just tips over, it's not gonna be like this. But apparently, I guess it didn't just tip over, but it could have rolled.
Yeah,
and look at the ground.
It's that there's snow. It's kind of rocky almost.
No, I'm saying it is rocky. It's not usually you're supposed to pick a level surface, right?
Yeah.
And they say that at least 100 feet or however much in diameter, there's not supposed to be much things around.
Yeah.
And this is just looks dangerous. Really dangerous, and of course the pilot, he's in trauma and he's been put on leave for indefinitely. So
which leads people to think that maybe it's an improper landing, or I don't know.
I don't know.
There's multiple reasons why this helicopter could have crashed, and luckily no one died or anything.
Yeah.
Well, he got his leg injured pretty badly.
Pretty bad, and so check it out. He's hurt, and they're trying to this is kind of traumatic at this moment, right? People are oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? And he couldn't even get up, and he was like, I'm still gonna do it right then and there. So he still takes out the ring, and he's like, will you marry me?
Yeah,
wow, his legs
bleeding or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel he had to follow through with it, because I feel when you go through something like this, it's a near-death experience, right?
Right.
So maybe that he was gonna propose all along,
right?
But it just made him feel he needed to propose even more because life is so short.
Right, and he's almost yo, I don't care what happens, I need to marry you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. Now, on the other hand, I could also be why don't you just propose the next day?
Well,
because there are people hurt right now. You're hurt. You had surgery on your leg, so you had a pretty bad injury. She seemed okay, but still, it's I'd be more all right, let's get everybody, because now you got to call for another helicopter to pick you up. Make sure everybody's okay. I would not have done it right there. I would have been make sure everybody's okay, and then after everybody's okay, I'm in the hospital bed. I would have been oh, hon, can you go over to the drawer? And then she pulls it open and there's a wedding ring. And I would have been I would have, is that romantic? Is this not romantic? And I'd be I was gonna do it when we landed, but that whole thing with the crash. So will you marry me now? That would have been romantic.
Well, here's the thing. He might have thought that it's equally as romantic to do it on the spot. I don't know. Maybe he's the kind of guy who just wants to do it right then and there.
Yeah, so. I know that's what he thought, but me on looking at it from afar. Now I'm not criticizing the guy. I'm glad that he you know, it turned out great. But I'm just kind of like, I can see what you're saying. Near death, you're traumatized, and your first instinct is like, you know, I want to marry you before maybe the helicopter rolls again or whatever. But then again, I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, I gotta make sure everything's okay.
Everything's okay, yeah, and
because you're not going anywhere, you're fine. It's not like you're like, that was horrible, I'm running off.
But then you're more like, oh, anything could happen to anyone. I do agree with you. Why? Because she's not feeling happy at that point. She's very worried. And when you propose to her, I feel like there would be mixed feelings there. Not doubting whether or not they would get married, but more like, how do I feel? Should I feel, I'm happy I'm getting engaged, but I'm worried about you. There are other people who might have been injured.
Correct.
Like, it's a complex array of feelings, you know? And I feel like that may have been one thing. And also, okay, I'm a little superstitious sometimes. I always think that if you do something auspicious, it's an auspicious occasion, the date of engagement. Right. But it also happens to take place on an inauspicious day because your helicopter crashed.
Well, I mean, most people would agree with you. That's why Chinese people have, you know, that's why they put so much time into picking the dates.
Making sure. Did you know that if you have a family member pass, like there's some Chinese custom that says that you have to wait a certain time before you can get married. Because you need to let it pass. You need to mourn. Nowadays, like modern Chinese don't think about that anymore because nowadays people are just like, just get married anytime you want. Like even young people are like, if you're done mourning or if you feel like it's the best time for you to marry somebody,
then it's the best time.
It's the best time for you. So it doesn't matter. But in the past, a lot of people are like, you can't do it. Some people even said, because if you think about it, in the past, mourning for your family or your ancestors is a long time. People could go through years of mourning before because it needs to let that pass. You have to let that pass before you can move on to something auspicious.
Exactly.
Like they'll go through 3 years of mourning when like say like a parent dies before they can proceed with the auspicious you know, wedding and stuff like that. So
this is what she said, right? Mitch is the guy's name. As he couldn't walk, he had his arm around me. We were trying to get away from the helicopter, and he said he couldn't wait any longer. So that's basically like, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
No, but if you think about it, what if the guy was planning this for months and he's just been waiting
this
moment, and he's like, almost on the ground, almost there, and then he's like, oh, come on, like I just want to get married with her, and this happens, you know?
It's pretty frightening because it sounds like they were in the helicopter when it rolled. So that is, I mean, traumatizing. You know, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not like a crash, but still. So I'm glad they were okay. At least, hey, now they have a good story to tell.
It is an interesting, very interesting story. Like
how'd you guys get engaged? Well, funny story. Have a seat.
Have a seat. We'll tell you how it is. And apparently, on a very random note, because this wasn't a private helicopter, there were other guests on the helicopter. There were 3 Chinese tourists there. They weren't hurt. I don't think they were hurt or anything like that. There's no report saying that they were hurt. Hopefully, they weren't. But that's very interesting.
It would have been funnier if. Also, one of the Chinese tourists was also planning to, you know how like they like elaborate things? They were also planning to do that after the helicopter ride. But then they're like, no, I can't do that anymore. It's like, this guy's doing it.
Wow, who knows? I mean, it's definitely a sort of, but I just thought that was an interesting thing. You know? Us Chinese tourists are everywhere.
So anyways, guys, let us know what you think of this story. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
Bye.